Tuan Bubi na Bolon. The text tells us that Tuan Bubi na Bolon is the mighty prince of the upper world. In our opinion, this means that he is the cosmic order in the upper world and therefore the upper world itself. The statement that this god is larger in bulk than in length also points in this direction. Most probably, he is looked upon as the totality of the three birds to which he gave the names. To which he gave names. We further read of this god that he lives in a banyan tree in the upper world. With a view to the opposite, this means that this tree is Tuan Bubi Nabolon himself of this upper world tree god or 3402 page 187 SK tells us the following. Ia hatubuan ni hariara jabu bagus di debata digit jangdo ni anna halak. Ugat ni hariara imana manatan tu batu nanggak jati baendala ni halak lau tu gijang. Aisai gatung-gatung doi ni nahalak di tonga-tonga ni langit sahadro di turun. Alai mau tutup ma boru ni debata na turu. Jadi di kotak ma urat ni hariarai. Jadi ida adong be di ida hala no anggo nanon. Ia pogbagi ni hariara jabu bagus ni nahalak. Ualu dakka ni hariarai. Mogbagi be do rupana. Sada madopak pugba rupa mas mai. Sada dopak anggodi rupa suasa mai. Sada dopak tangsina rupa pirak mai. Sada dopak nariti rupa golang-golang mai. Sada dopak pastima rupa sibora mai. Sada dopak manabia rupa tobaga mai. Sada dopak otara rupa bosi mai. Sada dopak manghirisana rupa hau mai. Hariara jabu bagus ma isian ni surat ni poksi baranan di jolma manusia di bain oputa debata. Ia pangidoan ni raja na sumurung nalubi, nagok di atas nagok di toru, na halauan haturutan na sawada hurang tudakan ni hariarai na dopak purba ma di suraton. Ia pangidoan ni raja panongado tudaka na dopak anggoti ma di suraton. Ia pangidoan ni namoga si hajo gongon na sa tebang dohot raja tudaka na dopak dan sina ma di suraton debata. Ia pangidoan ni namora panongado tudakan na dopak dari tima di suraton. Ia pangidoan ni datu panusuk do tudakan na dopak pastima ma di suraton. Ia pangidoan ni poripe na gabedo tudakan na dopak manabia ma di suraton. Ia pangidoan ni poripe do tudaka dopak otara ma di suraton. Ia pangidoan ni halak na pogos-pogos tudaka na dopak otara ma di suraton. Ia pangidoan ni hatobat do tudaka na dopak mangirisan na ma di suraton debata. Ima pogbagi ni pangidoan ni jolmaon na uboto gabe do na pogos. Ia pogsori ni arian ni jolma na binoto leleng manguru barang naso leleng tu ugat ni haraima di surato doho tu wonan daka doho tu kating na tu bulung na. Ia poksi barana ni halak na dung maduring ibana di bayan togasna tu ugat ni haraima di suraton debata. Ia poksi barana ni halak na dung magopuni asamate ibana tu hau ni haraima di suraton. Ia poksi barana ni halak na dung sanga marama ni asamate ibana tu bonandaka di suraton debata. Ia poksi barana ni halak na dung sanga doli-doli manipas asamate ibana di poksi tonga ni dakama di suraton. Ia poksi barana ni halak na dung sanga doli-doli marajak asamate ibana di rating ni hariarai ma di suraton. Ia sibaran ni halak na dung sanga sadangan podang asamate ibana tu pusuk ni haraima di suraton. Ia sibaga ni halak na dung sangat tang magumahan asa mate bana tubulung ni hariagan hadumaan ma nama disugaton. Ia sibaga ni halak na dung sanga iring-iringon tu balian asa mate bana tubulung na nama togas ma disugaton. Ia sibaga ni halak na dung sanga gopag-gopag di alaman asa mate bana ditapuk di bulung na asa matogas i ma disugaton. Ia sibaga ni halak na dungmok hori-hori diding asa mate bana dipusung ni bulung na nama togasi ma disugaton. Ia sibaga ni halak na dung sangat tidang-tidang di bulung na magtahi malamuni ma disugaton. Ia sibaga ni halak na dung sanga huduri bana asa mate ditapuk ni ima disugaton. Ia sibaga ni halak na mok tugarang ibana asa mate dipusung ni bulung na mogtahi malamuni ma disugaton. Ia sibaga ni halak na dung sanga nanukap-nukap di bulung na malamuni ma disugaton. Ia sibaga ni halak na dung sanga gora-goraon asa mate ibana digating na buguki ma disugaton. Ia sibaga ni halak na mate sian butuga di bulung na mogtahi maputiki ma disugaton. Ia sibagan ima sugat ni poksibaranan ni jelma manusia di lelengna mangulu di hasiaran. Ima sugat ni halak pokjunjungan do panadaran do sibaso pudik ingana ni dibahin. Ia halak panadaran di poktomuan na dakadupang ma disugaton. Ia halak sibaso digatingna na limuton ma disugaton. Ia halak pokjunjungan di pauni harai ma disugaton. Ia halak na begu di pokbuena nama togasi ma disugaton. Ia halak na oto jana pokbiak di pokbuena nama nukokhon i ma disugaton. Ia halak panako di pokbuena nama lamuni ma disugaton. Ia pokbueni poksibaranan di jalma manusia disugaton debata na tolu di ia pokbagi di poksibaranan di jalma manusia disugaton oputa debata na tolu di hariaga cabu bagus di debata di gijang do pokbagi ni hariaga cabu bagusi ale datu nami. The banyan tree is said to be in the upper world. The roots of this tree grew downward until they reached the rock Nangagjati, which gave entrance to the upper world. The roots of the tree were believed to hang down into the middle world, but the daughters of the tree gods, Patara, Gurusori, and Balabulan, Pidip Order Lumbantobing, agreed to cut off the roots of the tree. This is why we cannot see them anymore. As to the shape of the banyan tree, it is believed to have 8 branches of different shapes. One of them points towards the east and is made of gold. One towards the southeast, made of a mixture of gold and copper. One to the south, made of silver. One to the southwest, made of brass. One to the west, made of lead. One to the northwest, made of copper. One to the north, made of iron. And one to the northeast, made of wood. It is this banyan tree on whose branches and leaves the face of man are recorded by Opung Debata, the fate demanded by the tondi of a powerful ruler, the superior of his colleges, who is full above as well as below, i.e., who abounds in everything, who is obeyed and followed, who wants for nothing is recorded on the branch of the banyan tree, pointing towards the east. But the fate demanded by an ordinary Raja is recorded on the one pointing towards the southeast. The fate demanded by a Buru whose ancestors have lived in a village for generations and generations, so that he can be considered the equal of the Raja, is recorded by the Bata on the branch pointing towards the south. The fate, however, demanded by an ordinary Buru on the one pointing towards the southwest. The fate demanded by a powerful Datu is recorded on the branch pointing towards the east. The fate demanded by a rich Poripe, i.e., a villager belonging to the same marga as that of the village ponder, who is not a descendant of his, is recorded by debata on the branch pointing towards the northwest. However, the fate demanded by an ordinary people on the one pointing towards the north. The fates demanded by poor people are recorded by debata on the branch pointing towards the north, and the fate demanded by slave on the one pointing towards the northeast. There are the sorts of fates demanded by rich and poor people. As to the fates of men who will live for a long or a short time, these are written down on the roots, on the main branches, on the main branch, on the twigs, and on the leaves. The fates of those whose backs are bent under the weight of years are recorded by the Bata on the roots of the banyan tree. The fate of him who has grandchildren before he dies is recorded on the trunk of the banyan tree. The fate of a person who has a child before he dies is recorded by the Bata on the main branch. The fate of somebody who has already long reached the marriageable age before he breathes his last is recorded on the middle of the branch. The fate of a person, however, who has just reached the age is recorded on the twig of the banyan tree. The fate of a person who can use a sword lead who is so tall that a gilt sword does not touch the ground before he dies is recorded on the young leaf of the banyan tree. The fate of a person who is old enough to tend the cattle is recorded on the leaf which can be eaten. The fate of a child that can already be taken outside the village and dies afterwards is recorded of the full ground leaf. The fate of a child that has already begun to toddle in the farmyard and dies afterwards is recorded on the stalk of the full ground leaf. The fate of a child that has already learned to walk and dies afterwards is recorded on the top of the full ground leaf. The fate of a child that has already learned to stand up and dies afterwards is recorded on the leaf that begins to wither. The fate of a child that has already learned to sit and dies afterwards is recorded on the stalk of the leaf that begins to wither. The fate of the child that has already learned to creep on all fours and then passes away is recorded on the rope of the leaf that begins to wither. The fate of a child who can already turn over on its side in bed and lie it on its stomach and then dies is recorded on the withered leaf of the banyan tree. The fate of a child already 3 months old, to whom people already talk in children's language, who then dies is recorded on the old twig. The fate of a child who is stillborn is recorded on the leaf which is on the point of falling. Thus is the fate of man, so far as the duration of his life is the sublunary what is concerned, recorded on the tree. As to the fates of Pokjungjungan, Panandaran, and Sibaso, they are recorded in other parts of the tree. The fate of a Panandara is recorded on the spot where two branches meet. That of a Sibaso is recorded on the twig covered with lichen. That of a Junjungan on the top of the tree. The fate of a brave man is recorded on the fruit which is still hard, which is still hard, which is still hard, still unripe. That of a stupid and also a cowardly man is recorded on the misshapen fruit. That of a thief on the ripe fruit. Such is the allotment of the fate of man recorded by Apung the tree god on the banyan tree in the upper world, and such is the shape of the banyan tree, O Uagdatu. From the from the preceding, it becomes obvious that Tuan Bubi is the upper world aspect of the Bata, the high god. It is, however, also clear that the high god is identical with Tuan Bubi Bolon. We have pointed out this phenomenon in our introduction. This perhaps accounts for the fact that in myth a Tuan Bubi Bolon is called the only god. But other conclusions force themselves on us. In all probability, the banyan tree in the upper world is a tree of life representing the cosmic order, life and death old age and youth, wealth and poverty, courage and cowardice, etc. are comprised in it. Besides, we may suppose that it is the uppermost part of the cosmic tree we have described above.